The Morgan Gibbs-White saga drags on. Could Spurs winger be on his way out of the club? And Tottenham still interested in the Manchester United star? Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And if you do have a spare minute, please vote for the channel at the Football Content Awards 2025. All of the details are below. Let's get into it. Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated that Zabarnyi wants PSG and Paris Saint-Germain are set to improve their bid. The verbal agreement has been reached with Zabarnyi in June and PSG are set to approach Bournemouth again. No active talks with Tottenham so far, despite reports. Football.London report that Nottingham Forest have shut down lines of communication with Tottenham over a potential deal for Morgan Gibbs-White, it has been claimed. The 25-year-old has been at the centre of a fierce transfer saga as Spurs attempt to bring him to North London in the summer transfer window. Almost 2 weeks has passed since Forest board have ended communication with Tottenham over Gibbs-White, according to Sky Sports. A potential deal for the former Sheffield United and Wolves man is therefore at a standstill, and there is no clear end in sight regarding the resolution. Forest were then due to travel out to Portugal for a pre-season tour on Monday, but Gibbs-White has not jetted out with the rest of his teammates because of a personal matter. He's expected to fly out and meet his current teammates later this week as they prepare to face Fulham. Football.London also report that Manor Solomon has been keeping tabs on Leeds United's progress after returning to his parent club Tottenham Hotspur this summer. Solomon played a pivotal role in Leeds' championship winning campaign and subsequent promotion to the Premier League during his loan spell last season. Although he's back at Tottenham, rumours persist about a potential return to Leeds in the transfer window. Solomon's future remains uncertain, with speculation about whether Leeds will attempt to re-sign him for their Premier League campaign. Meanwhile, the winger is concentrating on recovering from a minor injury. Sources close to the situation at Spurs have outlined to Leeds Live that Solomon himself, whose contract runs till 2028, has informed the club he would ideally like to stay on in North London. It's claimed that Frank wishes to assess him before making a decision on his future. TBR Football reports that Conor Gallagher was recently spotted at Wimbledon with James Maddison, with talk of the midfielder being linked with Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham are long-term admirers of Gallagher, having tried to sign him before he moved to Atletico Madrid. Gallagher, who's been described as amazing, was with Maddison on the 6th of July in SW19 on centre court watching Carlos Alcaraz. The 28-year-old could well have used it as a chance to get in the former Chelsea player's ear about a move to London. Gallagher is not the only number 6 Spurs are assessing. João Paulinho and Douglas Luiz are 2 other players on the list. TBR Football understands that Tottenham have held talks with Paulinho last week and personal terms with the Portuguese international won't be an issue. And the Athletic report that Spurs' preference would be a loan move for João Paulinho rather than a permanent deal. The Mirror report that Tottenham make their move in a bid to beat Liverpool to summer transfer in the search for a new centre-back, and have been targeting a young defender to replace Jarell Quansah, who has joined Bayer Leverkusen but are keen on England centre-back Mark Guéhi if the price is right. But Spurs are making their move. Liverpool will face competition from Tottenham if they decide to pursue a move for Mark Guéhi. The Reds are expected to keep spending as Hugo Ekitike jets in for a medical from Eintracht Frankfurt. Guéhi, 25, has just 1 year left on his contract at Palace. It is not known if the defender wants to move on. Spurs tried to sign him in January for £70 million, but it was rejected by the Eagles. It suggested that Palace would want £50 million for Guéhi, and Spurs would be more inclined to meet that valuation than Liverpool. Christian Romero and Van de Ven have obviously struggled with injuries last season. And finally, Goal are reporting that Manchester United are reportedly ready to accept around £40 million for Alejandro Garnacho, with the Argentina international among several players pushed out by Ruben Amorim. The winger was previously valued as high as £70 million. But growing interest from Premier League rivals may now lead to a cut price exit. The winger is one of several players left out of the club's pre-season tour to the USA. Earlier reports have stated that Chelsea, Villa and Spurs are all monitoring this situation, as the Argentina winger would prefer to stay in the Premier League. His departure seems certain now that Amorim has stated unequivocally that the Argentine is not part of his plans and that his asking price has been cut. Despite overseas interest, Garnacho is expected to prioritise offers from English clubs as he wants to stay in the Premier League, with Tottenham Hotspur keeping a keen eye on the situation. Well, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, Ilya Zabarnyi. Again, I said yesterday that I don't understand this. If we're not selling a centre-back, why are we going for another centre-back? Seems like the player is set on PSG and PSG want the player. I can see the player going to PSG if he is going to move and not to Tottenham. Seems like all rumours at this point, probably generated, to be honest, because of the Romero issue, but those rumours have quietened down. So I personally can't see us going in for Zabarnyi at the price he's been quoted anyway. Let's face it, do we need another centre-back, which I'll come on to a bit later because of another one that we've been linked with again. Morgan Gibbs-White, again, this drags on. Obviously, it's been said he didn't jet out, and Spurs fans on X were excited about this news, thinking it was something to do with the transfer. Apparently it's not. Apparently his partner is he's pregnant at the moment, and that could be the reason. I'm not going to speculate. I just hope everything's well for Morgan Gibbs-White and his partner if that is the case. Again, we need a quick resolution on this one way or the other. This transfer, is it going to happen? Have Forest really cut all lines of communication with Spurs over Gibbs-White? Sky Sports, that's what they're reporting. But money talks. So I'm beginning to think now, if we want this player, we're going to have to go in with a bigger offer. The player obviously still wants Tottenham, but he's not prepared, as far as we know, to kick up a fuss and throw his teddy in the corner about this. So it's going to have to be somehow get around the table and try and get this deal done, or walk away and see who else we can bring in his place. Manor Solomon's possibly staying at Tottenham or going back to Leeds. Difficult one for me. Solomon didn't have a decent run at Tottenham and a decent run at it, should I say, because of injuries and what else. Obviously had a good season at Leeds. I could probably see Solomon going back to Leeds. I wouldn't mind seeing him in pre-season, see how has he improved as a player. Thomas Frank obviously wants to have a look at him. I think just we're well stacked four wingers at the moment. You'd think some of the likes of Odebear and Tell, and now we've bought Kudus in. I'm not sure there's going to be a place for Solomon, so perhaps getting a decent price for him from Leeds, where he's loved, the fans want him back, the club probably want him back, so I could possibly see Solomon going back to Leeds. Conor Gallagher, another interesting one, just threw this in. Perhaps he's just watching the tennis with his mate. I don't think there's anything in this. But obviously, Conor Gallagher, England teammates with James Maddison. I don't think there's anything in this other than they were just watching the tennis together. I don't think I can read too much into it. Gallagher obviously been linked with Spurs many times. He's a Chelsea boy, though, which says to me, would he really come to Tottenham? I suppose, people think players have got club loyalties. They probably have, but when money's on the table, it's just playing, it's just moving jobs, isn't it? So to them, would you want Conor Gallagher? I know we talked about this yesterday. It was a bit of a split in the comments. Some people did. It's probably about 50-50, to be honest with you. Conor Gallagher's a decent player, but personally, I'd rather us go for João Palhinha from Bayern Munich. So let's see how that one plays out. Mark Guéhi, again, we're linked with Mark Guéhi because Liverpool expected to offer him for Guéhi. Again, I don't quite understand this unless we're letting a centre-back move on. And is Guéhi going to want to be second choice? Because you'd think if Romero and Van der Ven were still at the club, which we hope they are, Guéhi's not going to be first choice at Tottenham, where he is, obviously, at Palace. You would think he would be first choice at Liverpool. So kind of the decision for the player, if it's between Liverpool and Spurs, he's probably going to go to Liverpool. It's all very well being well stocked in these positions. Mark Guéhi is a fabulous footballer, but I can't see this one happening. But we'll wait and see. It seemed to be rumours about centre-backs, which I just don't understand. Don't understand these rumours at all. Guéhi and obviously Zabarnyi as well. Very weird. And finally, Alejandro Garnacho. I think he's a great player. Would we bring in Garnacho only if we don't get Morgan Gibbs-White? Because again, Garnacho is a winger, a great player. But would this be an either-or situation? You know, possibly bringing in Gibbs-White. Is this a Paratici sort of move, or Paratici, should I say? Is this his kind of deal where he's got all those plates spinning, and has he got Alejandro Garnacho in the background? Or is this Johan Langer? We know he likes to deal in the shadows, and it could come out instantly almost, and you're not expecting it, that suddenly, like the Morgan Gibbs-White news did, even though that didn't end quite well and still hasn't ended, could we see Spurs moving for Garnacho? Do we need another winger? I think he's a great player, but available at a cut price deal by the sound of it as well, because he's clearly not wanted at United, wants to stay in the Premier League. I would take him at Tottenham, I would. But get down in the comments, let me know. Would you take Garnacho at Spurs? Do you want him as well as Gibbs-White? Can you see the club paying out for both of them? Interesting one. Anyway, that's all from me today. Get down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling as a Spurs fan and about all the topics discussed today. Come on, you Spurs.